Hello and welcome to the Norfolk Coast Path. Over the past several months, we've walked the whole thing, one section at a time, weekend by weekend, as time allowed. And over the next two videos, we're going to show you that hike. In the first video, we're going to start in Hunstanton and go to Cromer. And then in part two, we're going to go from Corton, go the other way, up to Cromer. Our first leg, Hunstanton to Brancaster.
All right, Hunstanton.
It's windy on the coast, and offshore turbines like these harness a lot of power. 2,500 years ago, a very different kind of power was on display here. This tranquil view was the site of Seahenge, a Bronze Age funerary monument with this upturned stump at the center, surrounded by these huge wooden stumps, now on museum display elsewhere. This modern model may kind of undersell that ancient experience. After home, things get a little bit marshy. Luckily, this nice walkway keeps your feet dry. This, if you look closely, is a common curlew, not to be confused with a stone curlew. We enjoy checking out old churches, and so in the village of Thornham, we popped in to check out All Saints Church. Though that doorway is 700 or 800 years old, the door is probably only about 600 years old. These medieval frescoes are unusual. It's fun to kind of imagine how different these churches would have looked when they were all painted up. Okay, no more time to waste. We're heading back out on the trail. Unfortunately, that means the road for a little bit. But not for long. Presumably for access reasons, sometimes the trail ducks inland a fair bit, like it does here, where we head through this agricultural area and this pig farm. Arriving in Brancaster, we checked out another church, the St. Mary the Virgin Church.
See stained glass in the back though. Looks like decorated Gothic.
So technically this leg does just go to Brancaster. However, we overshot a fair bit and walked to Brancaster State. Unfortunately, right at Brancaster, we found the trail blocked by this truck and had to take a little bit of a detour. The fantastic payoff of the detour is it takes us through here, which is the site of a former Roman fort. As such, we didn't have to snoop around too many rodent burrows before finding some nice pieces of Samian ware pottery. If you go, remember, you never take an artifact off an archaeological site. Leave it where you found it. And with that leg complete, it's time for a quick pint before we catch the bus back to the car, head back home. We are resuming our Norfolk Coast Path. We're in Brancaster. Last time we went past Brancaster, but there's a nice place to stay here, so we're gonna redo about a mile or so of trail.
I think the coast is this way.
We're gonna go that way to get to the coast. We're gonna retrace our steps for about a mile or so, and then hopefully get all the way to Wells next to the sea.
Yep.
All right, see how this goes. Been here before. All right, let's head on out. Last time we walked this segment, we were only able to get this far because they hadn't finished building the boardwalk. Jamie saw a news article that said they had finished it, but there it is. Still fenced off. We'll go around, maybe we can pick it up around the way. We're midway on the same diversion we did last time, and we're gonna head down back to the trail, see if maybe it is open here because we are optimists. Sign looks like it says footpath closed. I think it's good to go.
Well, he's using it.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. So what did you say a second ago?
Yeah, so this is probably the closed part right here.
So we're about halfway there, 6 miles in. We are walking into Burnham Overly Staithe. We'll hope to pick up some lunch, carry on. We're still on track to make it to Wells. But if...
Okay, quick lunch, in and out, back on the road.
We're going down East Harbor Way up here.
Okay.
We're gonna turn left, that's gonna take us right back down to the trail. No backtracking. Which Christmas tree did you want? Perfect.
This little visitor center in Holcomb makes for a welcome stop.
Head on out. We've made it. Well, we're on the causeway out of the seaside of Wells next to the sea, and we are on the much longer than you expect it to be walk from the sea back to Wells next to the sea.
Near the sea.
Wells near the sea. Wells vaguely near the sea. Here we are at the end of our walk at Wells next to the sea, where the low tide famously strands all the boats in the mud. Okay, the next leg of our Norfolk Coast Path begins here in Wells next to the sea. Last time we wound up in this town, and today we're starting off here, and we're heading off to Cley next to the sea. What do you think this is? I think it might be a little pillbox.
Remnants of British coastal defense are pretty common all along the trail. Happily, none of it ever had to get used. At Stiff Key, the wind picked up pretty good.
Have your pick. Yeah. Which one do you...
hitting the spot perfectly on a cold, windy day, a visitor center with a coffee shop.
Oh, that's good.
Not much these days reminds a visitor of Blakeney's glory days as an important port, but the 15th century Fish Merchant Guildhall offers a small glimpse.
Looking at this sign, we just learned about the Glaven eel, which is a fish that lives around here, an eel, I guess. And unlike many anadromous fish, it spends its life in the freshwater and then spawns in the ocean. Not just in the ocean, it swims out into the Atlantic and all the way to the Sargasso Sea over in the Western Atlantic by North America, and then comes back to live its life in the little rivers up here. It's crazy. Okay. We finished today's hike.
Yep, we're at Cley next to the sea.
Time for a cheeky pint, and then we're gonna head home.
Yes. That's good.
Okay, one more final order of business. Who can resist a fish smokehouse and not walk away with some kippers?
Kipper's bot. Welcome to the next segment of the Norfolk Coast Trail. This morning we are in Cley next to the sea, and we're gonna walk off to Cromer. Let's head out.
The 19th century Cley windmill was apparently owned by the family of famous singer James Blunt, who spent time there as a kid. It's now vacation cottages, as it has been for more than half the time it's existed.
Fine morning.
Today's segment starts on the beach, which is fine, it's nice to be down by the water. But before long, we would head up on the bluffs, which I personally like a little better. The walking's easier, the views are better, can't beat it. The North Norfolk Railway runs old steam engines on a line for visitors to ride along and get pretty views of the coast. Or, in our case, nice views of the train. Very conveniently, we find ourselves arriving in the seaside resort of Sheringham right around lunchtime.
We're at Guacamole in Sheringham. Burrito at the sea. That's not bad.
Just outside of Sheringham, we scaled the mighty Beeston Bump or Beeston Hump or Beeston Hill, a moderately famous little hill, known for being a reasonable-sized spot with the biggest views in the area, and formerly one of two hills, one of which is now gone. And before you know it, we've arrived. Cromer, officially the midpoint of our journey.
Smells like onions.
The Red Lion in Cromer is a cool pub known for its extensive selection of cask ales, and one that we will visit a couple times.
That's good.
And that's it. That's first half. Join us for part 2. next.